it's me, your girl T Bird, and welcome to Queen Conversations. Stories of trepidation, tragedy, and triumph. Well, today I am excited, and I won't lie, I'm a little nervous to sit down with this amazing queen. I'm going to introduce you to her, tell you a little bit about her. This is one of my newer sisters in my life. Those of you that get to know me, you'll know that every woman in my life is my sister. Now, some of them I happen to share DNA with, but Tamika is a new sister, and she has come into my life just early 2020, the beginning of this year. But we've become fast friends and sisters, and we share a very close relationship. And when she agreed to sit down with me and tell her story, I was floored and I was honored all at the same time. So hold on to your hats, because y'all are not going to, you don't know what's about to happen, but you're going to have a good time again. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about this amazing queen. Everybody, this is Queen Tamika Dixon, and she is the Director of Sales at Holiday Inn Westbury and the owner and CEO of Memorable Memories Event Decor and Planning in Queens, New York. Among her biggest accomplishments, she achieved her GED at York College, then graduated from Brooklyn Educational Opportunity Center, where she studied hospitality operations and management, to finally becoming an entrepreneur. During this time of quarantine, Tamika has expanded her business to include personalization of drink and dinnerware, along with virtual event hosting. Tamika's goal is to help others create special events where they can create memorable memories that will last a lifetime. Hey, Tamika!
Hey, Terry.
How are you, Queen?
I'm well.
Good. Welcome to Queen Conversations. Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me.
Oh, thank you for
So, I'm going to start us off with a couple of did you knows. This is how I start the show.
Okay.
So, did you know, everybody that's watching us today, according to riseandshine.childrensnational.org, sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, is the leading cause of death among infants 1 month to 1 year of age, taking the lives of about 2,500 children each year in the United States. And did you know that more boy babies die from SIDS than girls? Did you know that African American babies have a 2 to 3 times greater risk of dying from SIDS than a Caucasian baby? And finally, did you know that according to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, SIDS rates declined considerably from 130.3 deaths per 100,000 live births in 1990 to 35.4 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2017. So we are seeing a decline in those numbers. We are going to have an in-depth discussion today and conversation with Queen Tamika. She's going to tell us about her experience with her son who passed from SIDS. And today's episode is called Memorable Memories. All right, darling, you ready?
Let's do it.
So, Tamika, my first, and y'all need to know that Tamika is like my sister. So if you hear me call her sissy, I'm trying to be professional, but understand and know you about to get insight on a conversation between two sisters. That disclaimer being said, we're going to talk with you guys today. So my first question, sis, is when did you discover your inner queen? You know, I ask everybody that question.
Yeah, well, for me, I am actually still trying to figure that out. I'm called queen all the time, and I'm just like, okay, I'm the one that just likes to be in the background and just kind of make sure everything else gets done. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, cool. So you're still on the journey. That's good. That's okay. So tell me about your son.
Okay, so my son, Raymond Dwayne Wales Jr., aka Ramel. I had my sweet baby for a short period of time. Very handsome baby, not because he was mine or is mine, but he just had a face of an angel. So many people would just look at him like, "Oh my gosh, this baby is gorgeous," and I say, "Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know that, but I created him. I get it. He's a very, very sweet baby. He wasn't a crybaby. He wasn't that person. Just very, very sweet, very innocent, even at the short age that he was. Yes.
Okay. How old was he when he passed?
He was 2 months old.
Wow.
So I had had him for 2 months.
Okay.
He was on July 8th, 1992, and went on September 12th, 1992.
Wow. Okay. So he's got a birthday coming.
Yeah.
Soon. A birthday in heaven.
Yeah. Around this time, it gets a little, difficult for me. But I'm grateful to have had him the time that I did have him. Sometimes around this time, I don't even realize the date, and I'll get a little moody. And then I'll say, oh, let me check the date and let me see what's going on. And then I realize unconsciously, that's part of what's going on. But
absolutely. Well, because regardless, he's with you.
Yes.
I think sometimes we think when a loved one passes on, we forget that they're still around. Especially, I can only imagine having a child. You still have that connection somewhere in your body knows. Even if your conscious mind doesn't pay attention. I agree to that 100%.
Mother's Day gets a little sensitive, but Mother's Day and his birthday are those times where it kind of kicks in a little bit.
I definitely understand that. It's funny, when you shared this with me for the first time, it was this past Mother's Day when you sent me my Mother's Day wishes. And that was one of the reasons why I said, I hope you will sit down and share this with me, because every interaction that I have with you, from the moment that we met, this is who I see. The smiling, joyful, loving. You're always making sure that other people are okay. So who makes sure that you're okay?
Well, now that I have some new sisters in my life, definitely you for the time that we've been interacting, you definitely always, hey, you all right? You good? My mom, my sisters, my family, my cousins. So, I have a few people in my corner, which is really different for me, but I do have some people in my corner.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So before Raymel passed, did you know about SIDS?
No, I didn't know. I don't want to say no completely. You hear of little stories, but you don't think that it would happen to you. So I wasn't 100% into the knowledge of it, but there was a tiny percent of it.
Got it. And tell me about the day he passed. What was that like?
So he had not been feeling very well, and I had took him to the emergency room. It seemed like he was a little achy, and I said, okay, this is, not my baby. I said, so let me see what's going on. So I did wait a little bit to see if anything was going to clear up, and it didn't. So I took him to the emergency room. So when I got there, they did the regular checks. You have to excuse me because a lot of the stuff I had to block out as well. So I do have like bits and pieces.
I get it.
But I do remember being at the hospital and being in the room with him, and I must have dozed off, but I was laying on the bed while, where he was, or the cradle, whatever they called it at the time. And just leaning there, and I dozed off, and I remember hearing like a deep breath, like a loud, deep breath. And then when I heard that, I looked at him, and it looked like he was changing colors. And at that point, that's when I called for the doctors and everything, and everyone came in, but I had to leave out. I don't know how much time from that point to the time that they came to tell me that my baby was no longer here. So.
Okay, you said that with great courage, and I have a son. Yeah, but you're doing great, and I have a son, so I can only imagine. So I'm proud of you, Sissy, because Your story is going to help other women who have experienced it, who are experiencing this kind of loss now. You're going to make a difference in their lives. So thank you for being so honest.
Story to tell. And honestly, it's not even a story that I share. I don't just go around when I meet people and, share that. I haven't been blessed again to have any other children after him. I don't know if it's part of nerves or part of not having the right partner, not being married, not God's will. But I haven't had that opportunity again. But it's not a story that, when you meet people, you say, okay, they ask you have children. And I just go, I depending upon the person and the atmosphere, I really honestly do try to figure out how do I answer that question. And then some I say, yeah, I got a bunch of nieces and nephews, and I leave it at that. Or I pray that the question doesn't come up right away. As people come closer into my life, if they do stay around long enough, then that's when I'll share. If I find that they're even important enough for me to even share that information. But it's not something that I just go, this is what happened to me. You have to be important to me for me to share that. That's a personal part of my life. So
I get that. And that's why it's so special for me to have you sitting down with me, because I feel like I'm one of them special people.
Oh, so. Yeah, absolutely. I knew at some point that I would possibly have to share this story. I knew it for years. I just didn't know when the time would be and where I would have to share it. But I saw it. And I said, okay, so being the special person that you are, the safe place that you make it for me is why I was able to agree to this. So.
You're not gonna have me crying on my own show.
We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
It's funny, even in preparing these questions for you, when I sit down, everybody so far that I've sat down with, I have a really good relationship with. I have a close relationship with. So when I've got to ask these tough questions, I struggle myself because I love you and I wanna protect your heart at all costs, because this is not about a YouTube channel or fame, or you know what I mean? This is not about any of that. This is truly about helping other women heal and sharing the stories of the amazing women in my life. Because like you said, this is not something that anybody who doesn't know you would ever see in any perspective of your life. Nobody would ever, there's a lot of people, things happen in their lives, tragedy comes up in their lives, and they wear that thing like a badge of honor, and and it overshadows everything that they do for the rest of their lives. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted you to share this with everyone, because obviously it's not that you forget, it's not that you get over, but you learn to live your life to the fullest, to honor your baby, because he would want you to.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you manage all of that? Like, you were how old at the time?
16, 17 years old. A baby. A baby having a baby.
Yeah.
And, at that time, we didn't have, this sounds so crazy for me to even say this like this, but at that time we didn't even have a lot of the resources and all of the things that we have now. So I just got through it with the prayers from my grandmother, my mom, my family, everybody just kind of staying close and just being there. And still, even to this day, as you said, Mother's Day is a little eggshellish for me, So though I try my best to still have a good day, there's those parts of the day that, gets me a little like, okay, I'm a little sad, but there have been people who surround me on that day to make sure I stay uplifted. So, you know, I just take it day by day. I just take it day by day. Even 28 years later, I take it day by day.
Hey, I get it. I totally get it. So what was your grief process like at 16? How did you wrap your head around that?
Again, with just the support of the family. You know, my grandmother, heavily into the church, mother of the church, I believe she was on the usher board, you know, choir and everything. So her just being heavily in the church, bringing us up in the church. So I relied on the prayers. I didn't realize how much I did at that time, but I did. You know, the church members at the time too, and again, and it just goes back to my mom and, you know, at the time my stepdad who was around at the time, and, you know, just the family. It's the family.
That's awesome. How did this affect your relationship with his father?
Well, unfortunately, his father wasn't around at the time. Let me say he was unavailable. Let me say it that way.
That part. Okay.
He was unavailable because I don't want to say, you know, because it wasn't a negative thing. He just wasn't available at the time. And he and I, till this day, not that we speak every day or, you know, we're still really good friends. You know, if we do see each other, you know, he'll go, you know, you're my first baby mama. And, you know, we're just, you know, laugh it off and everything. But we've never had a negative interaction or a bad type of encounter. It's always been really nice and cordial. I've met the others. and so it hasn't been bad. We haven't had that. I do believe that even if my son was here, we would have still been able to have an amazing relationship, whether we were together or not. I truly believe that.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because so many times when something like this happens, it tears people apart. It sounds like it bonded you guys together. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty amazing. So of course we know from a logical standpoint, right? Because now we're adults and we all understand how SID, well, we don't understand completely how SIDS works, right? Because it just happens for a lot of babies. But was there any time when you blamed yourself in any way?
I didn't blame myself. I just would ask a lot of why. You know, why did it have to happen to me? You know, but I didn't blame myself. I just wanted to know why.
Nice. And how did you come to the realization of letting him go?
Well, truth, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Truth, I haven't let him go because I carry him with me everywhere, every day. Now there's just, you know, some things that might for that day take precedence or whatever, but he's with me every day. I've just learned in certain ways to kind of deal with it a little bit differently. And there are those days too that I just say, I don't care. I'm just, let me feel it, you know, and I'll break down in tears and I'll go through the motions of it all. But I do try to stay strong to the best of my ability about it.
So I know that you are a very private person, and I guess you've kind of answered this a little bit, but but what gave you the courage to finally tell the story?
You, like I said before, you know, you and I've had other personal conversations, and every conversation that you and I have had, it has always been a safe place. You know, even preparing for this, and I'm trying not to prepare for it. I just wanted to show up. I was just like, it's going to be okay. It's gonna be all right. Yeah, I brought my tissue just in case. I was like, but I knew, like I said, I knew I would have to do it eventually. And right now, I'm standing on God, doing this. I'm standing on His strength. Where it may seem like, I don't want to be emotional. No, I'm standing on Him right now. But you have made every interaction, every conversation that we've had safe for me, and that's a hard place for me to be in with anyone. I like to be to myself. as outgoing as I may seem to a lot of people, I'm really to myself. I'd rather be in the room and just by myself. So you've made this safe for me.
Thank you. That is an honor, and it's my privilege. So tell me, sis, for any woman who's watching, who's been through the same kind of storm, right? Because obviously this was a major storm in your life, and you've weathered it. But any woman who's been through the same storm, losing a child, or who maybe is in the process of it, what do you think the 3 most important things are to do?
Because I'm Christian, the first thing I'm gonna say is pray, talk to Him, share whatever it is that that's on your heart, whatever pain it is, whatever happiness it is. I say pray. Second, I would say find someone that you trust enough to share your story with, that when you do go through those moments of unhappiness or hurt, the why me, there's someone who can be supportive to you. And also, just know that it'll be okay. Take it day by day, minute by minute, second by second, and it won't ever go away. It'll just get just a little bit easier, but it won't go away. So I just say take your time with it, and it'll settle in a little bit easier.
Okay. So pray, find your person, and know that it'll be okay. Those are great. Those are great tips for us, for anybody who's dealing with loss. So I need to know, because now that I'm hearing, because I heard some things today I didn't know before. So how much sweeter to receive your GED from York, because what, you were a junior in high school when this happened?
Yeah.
Right?
It wasn't like I wasn't a smart kid. I was a very smart kid.
No, but I just mean from the emotional standpoint, because I would have been in a ball in the floor somewhere.
But the thing is, I had sort of stopped going to school way before that. And for me, it was like, okay, the teachers are slow. Like, I felt like I was a little bit ahead of my time. You know how we do. And so when it happened, I was just like, okay, what do I do now? And I just went ahead. So after his passing, I made it a goal for myself. I made it a goal. And I said, man, I don't know what I'm going to do now. It's like, no matter what, I want to go and have this accomplishment for myself. And it wasn't for anybody else. And though, my mom would always say, go do something, go get your GED or something. It wasn't her. It had to be something within myself that I wanted to do. And I did that. During that time, there wasn't like a graduation for it. And so when I went to take the hospitality and management course years later, there was that opportunity for me to walk across the stage in the cap and gown. And though I didn't realize how important it was, I remembered asking God to allow me to walk across the stage one day with a cap and gown, and that He did.
Yeah, He's got a way of filling those little heart desires,
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Years
later still, but it still came to
Absolutely.
pass. Yes.
Absolutely. So when people hear your story, what is the one thing you want them to know?
Again, just don't keep it to yourself, you know, but share it with someone trustworthy, not just anyone. Um, Someone who can definitely be there to support you, to see you when you snotting and crying, and you know, who when you don't understand, you know, what's going on, they can just sit there and comfort you, and just to know that it's okay to be hurt, it's okay to cry, it's okay to miss them, it's okay um, to sit and wonder why. It is absolutely all okay. It's part of the process. And going through that process, little by little, will, just like I said, will make it just a little bit easier. You know, even with that, I just want to add this because I still find it to be an amazing blessing. Um, I've been blessed to have nieces and nephews where I've stated this before, their parents have allowed me to be a part of their lives. I watched my nephew graduate from high school. It was bittersweet. You know, there was only a couple people that can be there, and I was there for his graduation. My nieces, they'll call me and allow me to be a part of those things. So those things help fill my heart, you know, just to be a part of that. So
That's funny. That was going to be my next question. I was going to say, when did you rediscover your joy? How did you get there?
Through my nieces and nephews, you know, that moment where my nephew walked through the doors, I literally just bust out in tears. I just bust out in tears, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like
Say it one more time about your nephew. You were so proud of him.
I was just stating that during his graduation, that once he walked through the door of of the auditorium, that I just bust out into tears. You know, being so proud of him, and then also having that unconscious feeling at that moment that, wow, I didn't personally get an opportunity to have this moment for myself, but just so glad that I had an opportunity to be there with him and to support him. So
It sounds like you have a lot of gratitude in your life in spite of what you've been through.
yes, I do. Again, I have some amazing they're a little crazy though, little some amazing nieces and nephews. And you know, my oldest nephew is 23. I believe he's 23. So, and also I have a baby sister. She's 25. So I got a chance to be a part of their lives, just like, you know, my sister calls me her adopted mom. She was with me all the time. So though I didn't get a chance to have some motherly experiences through them, you know, even till this day, you know, they, you know, growing up, having children, I'm a great aunt. So, you know, so I'm just been blessed in those areas to still have some experiences, you know, though they're not completely my own, but they have been shared with me.
So that makes them yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I like that. That makes them yours. You know, it's funny. I always say that, right, on Mother's Day. I reach out to aunties because I think as women, we're nurturers. So,
Yeah.
you know, and just like we've all adopted each other as sisters, as this show continues to grow and unfold, we'll have more sisters that come forward. And, you know, I always say that now because I'll say to my mom, oh, I got to call my sister back. And she's like, which one? Because, I think they say you can't pick your family, but I disagree. And I just differentiate and say I have sisters that I share DNA with, and then I've got my other sisters. That's the only way I make but we're all sisters without a doubt. So absolutely, that you've gotten the opportunity to be mom to a lot of people, and that's huge. That's amazing. So, Sissy, I know that the name of your company is Memorable Memories. And when I asked you today, what should we title your episode? Because I didn't want to title it, it seemed to me disrespectful to say, losing a child to SIDS. That just seemed not monumental enough. And I said to you, what should we call your episode? And you said to me, it's funny that you say that, because I was going to call it Memorable Memories. And you shared something with me today. Of course, that's the name of your company. But you shared something with me today about what that really means. Would you share that with our viewers?
Yes. So, Memories actually is, I guess I would use the word founded. Hold on, Sissy, I got it. Would I use the word founded?
Yes.
Okay. So, Memorable Memories has been founded around my son, Ramel. When I was trying to pick out the name or decide on a name for the business, I didn't want it to be, like Ramel's event planning, and I didn't want the name to be out like that, because at that time, businesses were by everybody's name. And I knew I didn't want that, but I wanted it to still represent him. And at that time, of course, he wasn't with me anymore. And so I would sit and I was like, man, I can see the logo. The logo was like something with some clouds on it. And so I knew I wanted it to be something with a memory. So I was discussing it with a friend of mine, and, we kind of brainstormed and came up with the name Memorable Memories. So Memorable Memories is referenced more so towards Ramel, and I just didn't want to use his name outright.
That's beautiful. So you took the memories that you shared with him, even in that short time that he was with you, and created something long lasting and beautiful. Yes. And since then you've created memorable memories for everyone else. And I think what a blessed tribute. What a wonderful way to continue to honor him. I think that's fantastic. So is there a web page where people can go for Memorable Memories event planning and decor?
Yes. You can go to my Instagram, which is decor_Memorable Memories 1.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure we put that in the comments too. I love that. And you did something for me for Father's Day. It's still a secret right now, but by the time this airs, the secret will be out, so I'll be able to share it. I love what you do. I love who you are. I am so excited for you and what lies ahead. And I know that, this story is going to change lives and touch women everywhere. So we did it, Sissy. I'm out of questions.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Sissy, for making this a safe place for me, making it comfortable enough for me to have this moment, and to share it in a way that I didn't know that I could, or would, for that matter. Of course, we kept it a secret, and so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for keeping my secret. And see, just from that alone is what I mean about you making it a safe for me. So thank you.
Well, I thank you. I thank you for for trusting me with it. I do. It's an honor and a privilege. And I see that we've got our handsome Raymel looking over our shoulders today. He's back there in the photo.
I actually have a small version of it too. It happens to be my favorite picture. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Oh, yes. You're right, girl. He's a handsome one.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
So this is my favorite picture. If you can see it, the basketball, he's pointing like, yes! I'll take you next. I got this. So that's my favorite picture.
So amazing. That's so cool. That is amazing. So I want to just say to those of you watching today, what about you? Are you in the storm of a loss? Maybe you've lost a child. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Are you looking for a safe place? Are you looking for someone to hear your story and hear your heart? Y'all know I'm not a medical doctor, but I always got a little bit of a prescription. And today's prescription, based on our conversation with Queen Tamika, pray. Find that person, your person. And just remember that it will be okay. If you need somebody to talk to, you need somebody to pray for you. You want somebody to be your person, reach out. I'm going to put some resources in the link in the comments below. We've got a group called Release Me. If you're ready to live in some freedom and some gratitude and some joy, you'll be able to connect with Tamika and send her a message. There's nothing, I think, like having someone who's experienced what you've experienced to walk through it with a little bit. So we're going to be able to make sure you have those resources. And I also had a quick number for, what did I do with it? Y'all know I got all my notes, honey. So if there is also a SIDS support line for parents, it's 1-800-432-SIDS. If you need somebody, reach out. Don't go through this by yourself. You know, we all need somebody sometimes, and it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, hey, my heart is hurting. There's always somebody who's willing to listen. So my queen, Sister Tamika, I thank you so much for joining me today on Queen Conversations. Yes. And I look forward to the many conversations that will come.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, that's it. It's your girl, T-Bird. I got some more tears to cry, but y'all ain't going to go see it. I'm going to go get by myself. Make sure you tune in next time for Queen Conversations. Take care of yourself, be well, and know you're loved. Mwah. Bye-bye.